What's up, party people? Let's talk about the 13 defensive playbooks that were updated in the latest Madden 26 update. Now, of the 13, there are 9 usable playbooks in my opinion. Now, all of these are going to make it to the top 5, of course, but we'll eventually get there. I'm going to give you the best schemes to use these 9 playbooks in, and I'm going to tell you the 4 playbooks of these 13 that you shouldn't use at all, being the Browns, the Cowboys, the Saints, and possibly the Buccaneers. I've seen the Buccaneers work here and there, but compared to the other ones, just stay away. So let's get into these 9 playbooks. They're not in any particular order. I'm just going to give you the best schemes I found they work in, and then eventually we will redo the entire top 5 video of defenses and bring that back out to you. But some of these will be in it for sure. So and with that, let's jump into this video. But first, please like, subscribe, hype this video, join the community. Anything you can do help support me. Comments, questions, I love it all. It's a community here. We help each other, and I greatly appreciate any support you can give me. So without further ado, let's talk about these playbooks. First up here, we got the Denver Broncos defense. Best schemes for this, in my opinion, are the base 3-4, the 4-3 under. And their probably best scheme is the Skies 3-4. Got a bunch of top 5 defensive ranks here. 16-1 seasons, 15-2, 14-3. Definitely saw that work the best in the Disguise 3-4. A little lower on the sack numbers, not a lot of interceptions, but that could just be the team I'm using. As you can see in this example season, 16-1 with the Eagles using the Giants defense, and you can see how good Smith, Barkley, and Hurts does, or how well they did. I think it's a good sign of a really good playbook. And when those guys are going off and you're going 16-1, sometimes you kind of have to ignore the numbers. I try to use a balanced offense, and that could make things a little wonky with some of the ratings. So the past defensive numbers compared to how this playbook played before have gotten a little bigger. We're a little more in the red and the yellow than we are in the green in the pass rank. But again, that could just be the Eagles, that could be the offense. But still, this defense performed very well. Now, if I had used the Ravens offense, everything probably would have been green for sure. But winning is the most important thing. Of course, you're getting sacks, number 1 in rush rank, and all that stuff. So it's a really good defense, and it could be one that's in consideration for the top 5 overall. All right, so next we have the Dolphins defensive playbook. This is one of my top 3 defenses for the 4-3 scheme we did a little bit ago, but I don't even know if I would recommend or suggest that playbooks be classified as 3-4, 4-3 anymore. They just work in random schemes, and they all have 3-4 and 4-3 formations. The best schemes for this, I like the Tampa 2 and the 3-4 under. A lot of 17-0 seasons with this, but the best are probably the base 3-4 and the 4-3 under for sure. Now we're going to give you some example seasons here. A lot of 17-0, 15-2 seasons. Topped out at 60 sacks in a couple seasons. It's a really good winning playbook. Great stats for Barkley. When I was in the 4-3 under, Barkley ran multiple times for 1,700 plus yards and 1,900 plus yards. Base 3-4, I had a bunch of 15-2 seasons, 60 sack seasons, and as you can see, it does very well. The Eagles even have like a premier pass rusher, so they could be even higher sack numbers. And then as you see here, something I'm going to start including, thanks to a guy part of the community, Matthew, suggested that I also show what these playbooks do in the playoffs. And as you can see, the Eagles in this example finished the deal in the this is base 3-4. So they got the job done. And from now on, when I do my testing of playbooks, I will also include and show which playbooks in the test finished the job and got the Super Bowl. So thank you, Matthew, for that suggestion. Next here, we have the Atlanta Falcons defense. I'm a little surprised by this one. Did pretty well. I like the 3-4 under and the 3-4 Storm, and oddly enough, the 46 defense. Sometimes you can see the 46 defenses kind of popping up here. A little low on the interception numbers. Did see Barkley do very well in this defense. 46 defense, which was interesting about this, had a bunch of top 5 finishes in the ranks. Same with 3-4 under. 3-4 Storm had a 15-2 and one of the best defense. And as you can see in this example here, Barkley ran for over 1,800 yards. 7th overall defense, only 46 sacks, 2 interceptions. I mean, I don't understand the interception things. And did get to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Chargers. So take that into consideration. But pretty interesting playbook. It's viable. I don't think it was before this really that much, but it's a playbook to consider. Sometimes people want to change up playbooks, and the Falcons could be one you can throw in the mix. And hey, it could work awesome with an offense that we don't even know. So sometimes you just gotta start switching around playbooks till you find one that works with your team and or the offense that you're using. The Giants' defensive playbook is up next to talk about. Pretty good playbook. It's not the greatest. When I start looking at the other playbooks, it's okay. It's not bad. One of the reasons why this stands out is I got a 17-0 in the base 4-3 scheme. So I would definitely look into using the base 3-4, and then the 3-4 Storm, very good. Went 12-5 in the season. A lot of greens in the ranks. 3rd overall defense, and 61 sacks with 13 interceptions. You'll love to see it. Now, we didn't finish the deal in this example here of getting the Super Bowl, but you never know. But this is a pretty solid playbook, and upgraded nicely. All right, so now we have the New England Patriots. A playbook I believe was in the top 3-4 playbooks originally for 3-4 defensive playbooks. Lots of greens here, top 5 rankings. Kind of like pick a scheme other than disguise 3-4, 4-3 quarters. I think 3-4 under, 4-3 cover 3, and 4-3 under are the best. Big thing about this is the sack numbers, for sure. As you can see in this example here, a little bit in the yellow with 15 defensive points against and 15 pass against, but also, again, that could be the Eagles or the offense. I'm using top 9 in overall rankings, and you can see 55 sacks. And it didn't win a Super Bowl in this example, but the Patriots did win a Super Bowl. So, what do I do with that? The playbook did win a Super Bowl in this example, just not with the team that was using it. So, who knows, man? But the New England Patriots has always been a really good playbook, and I will continue using it for sure. All right, so next we have the Las Vegas Raiders defensive playbook. Now, when I did this a month ago with this playbook, when it was first updated, it was really good. But I also used a different team. I used the Ravens and the Atlanta offense. So either it got downgraded or just the team performs differently, different offense, different team. Only 10-7 in this example. Used the base 4-3. I think the big thing for this one is sacks. I've seen 60 plus sacks in using the Eagles, so that's a good sign. The offense did really well. We had a season where Barkley, Smith, and Hurts all went off, so it's got potential. It just didn't work very consistent with a team like the Eagles. But, like I said, with the Ravens, it was awesome. So it's definitely a playbook to consider putting on your list. It just, wasn't jiving with the Eagles for whatever reason, but I still think it's something you need to consider using. And by the way, we did make it to the Super Bowl in this example, but lost to the Ravens 34-28. But now let's talk about the Rams. Playbook has always been very good in Madden 26, in my opinion. Still pretty darn good. Stay away from the 3-4 under and 4-3 under. It used to seem like the unders were the better ones, but now it's kind of shifted to the disguise 3-4, 3-4 Storm, 46D, 4-3 cover 3, base 4-3. Kind of the ones that stood out to me in the test. What really stood out was how well Barkley did. I mean, he even rushed for 2,100 rushing yards in the 3-4 Storm. He had 1,700 yard seasons, 1,800. So he did very well. That's a good sign of how good a defense is. Here in this example, top 5 defense, only 47 sacks We used the 46 scheme, and then we did make it to the Super Bowl, and we won over the Colts 2017. So it's still a pretty darn good playbook. Just like New England, more, I think, sack-based than it is interception-based. Interceptions are just so hard to get for whatever reason, especially on neutral teams. But the Rams is still one of my favorite playbooks. I know people have problems with the Rams performing, but hey, it's always worked for me, and I love it. Second to last here, we got the Ravens we're going to talk about. I mean, solid as they come. I really like them in the 4-3 quarters, the 4-3 cover 3, the 3-4 under, and the 3-4 storm. That's how they performed well with the Eagles and the Giants offensive playbook. Let's see. Only one season of 60-plus sacks. It's not so much about the sacks, but you're going to have a nice floor of 40 to 50. Barkley performed very well. This is kind of set up to win games and have the running back perform very well. You usually see Derrick Henry perform very well. Well, Saquon performs very well. In this example, we were a top 5 defense, 56 sacks, 11 interceptions. So that's nice to see. It's one of the most solid defenses in the game. And there's nothing more to say about it than that. You want to win games, you want to get some sacks and have some good rushing stats. Well, I think the Baltimore Ravens defensive playbook is for you. And we got one more, so let's get into it. All right, last here we have a playbook I think actually improved from the beginning of the season. The Pittsburgh Steelers playbook. I mean, it's always good. It's always solid. I have a little theory here on some of these playbooks that are with teams that have premier pass rushers like Myles Garrett, the Steelers, beginning of the year. Who else? Who's got a really good? The 49ers, in some cases. If a team has a really good pass rusher, you can't have them in a playbook that gets a lot of sacks, because then their sack numbers are going to go really high, because of course that player is going to get a lot of sacks and bring up the sacks number. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Steelers were nerfed a little bit, and now I think they've gotten better, because I don't know if he's gotten a lower overall, but TJ Watt could have gotten a lower overall. I'm seeing their sack numbers go up when I do simulations, and now when I'm doing their tests with the Eagles, I'm seeing 60s and 50s a lot more. So I think they kind of open up this playbook a little bit. That's just my little theory, but I've definitely seen more sacks now than I did with the Steelers at the beginning of the year. That said, I'm not using the Tampa 2 scheme. I am going to use the 4-3 quarters, the 4-3 cover 3, the 4-3 under, 3-4 storm, base 3-4, 3-4 under. And in this example season, we went 12-5 using the, base 3-4. A lot of greens here. Did make it to the playoffs. 6 overall defense, real solid season. And then looking at the sack numbers here, what's that? 58 sacks, 15 interceptions. So the playbook has definitely improved in my opinion. Could it be in the top 5? Could it be in the top 3 best defensive playbooks? I'm going to say I think so. But we're going to have to redo that list. There's a couple playbooks that weren't upgraded that were in my original top 5s for 3-4 and 4-3. So we'll have to get into that. But here, I wanted to give you guys, what stood out to me after the updates. And I think it's good to have a bunch of different ideas of defensive playbooks, because, like I said, I believe that mixing and matching defenses and offense is an important thing, and scheme-wise. So that's a big request. What are the better winning combinations of offense and defense? We have to get into that. It all takes a while. So I'm going to go back through some of these playbooks that we didn't cover in the updates. Seattle's defense and Green Bay specifically. I think those are the next 2 I have to cover, and then we'll kind of, curate a top 5 list of just the best defenses. I'm no longer going to split them between 4-3 and 3-4, because it doesn't matter. They're all in 4 down line fronts, no matter what anyway. So that's all I got to say. And I appreciate you watching, liking, subscribing, hyping, joining the community, whatever you can do. Again, greatly supports me, and I can get out videos like this for you as soon as I can. It just, it takes a while, especially with now we're entering these into the Google Doc that you can get if you join the community, and I'm color coding it, so can see what stands out. And also another thing I forgot to mention with the Steelers, yeah, Barkley performed very well. 1,800 rush yard season, 1,700 rush yards. You know, it's kind of like the Ravens in that sense. Very, very solid, even probably more than solid. So anyway, thanks again. See you very soon. And yeah, we got a lot to get into.